Hey, all right. Hi, everybody. Dan Haggerty here with some of your feedback after my segment last night where we started a discussion about affirmative action and this headline, the Supreme Court to consider landmark challenge to Harvard and UNC affirmative action policies. We went into the history of affirmative action and how it's changed over time, becoming what it is today, essentially an acknowledgement by our highest court that race matters, and addressing it is essential to the growth of this country. During one landmark case, Justice Harry Blackmun wrote, "In order to get beyond racism, we must first take account of race. There is no other way." Which is why colleges and universities and many other parts of our society still consider race as a factor in their admissions process or hiring. Now, real quick, I do want to remind everyone, if you ever miss one of my segments, they're really easy to find as long as you can get past this smug bio picture of me on our website. I look like there should be an 800 number next to my headshot. Have you been hurt in an accident? Anyway, just Google Dan Haggerty, WRAL, go to my bio page and scroll down. You'll find every single segment I do. Now, let's get to an email from a viewer named Donald who wrote in after that piece on affirmative action. And this might not seem entirely on topic, but I think it's a perfect example of something to address tonight. Donald said, "Do you think Biden is racist when he said, 'I am going to put a black woman in the Supreme Court'? Whatever happened to the most qualified, not just about race?" This is the perfect question because this essentially is affirmative action in its simplest form. In the 230-plus year history of the Supreme Court, there have been 115 justices, and all but 7 have been white men. There has never been a black woman on the Supreme Court, not one, and the president thinks it's time to change that. Now, as far as the second part of the question, what happened to the most qualified person getting the job? Define most qualified. I mean that seriously. I mean, just like with schools and admissions, there are many qualities to account for with these decisions. And in this case, I mean, think of it this way. President Biden isn't looking for who's the most qualified judge who's conservative, is he? He's looking for the most qualified liberal judge. That's part of his definition of most qualified, along with their race and gender. I contacted a law professor from NCCU to explain this a little better than I can.
The president has made a political decision about the necessity of having a diverse U.S. Supreme Court, in very much the same way that colleges and universities make the decision that for their educational institutions, they need a diverse environment that can expand and enhance the educational offerings that they can provide to the students on their campus.
Now, again, before you write me and say, this is biased, this is not my opinion. This is the law, interpreted by our highest court several times over decades, who will coincidentally interpret it again with the case against UNC, with a new justice who was picked with race and gender as major factors in their nomination. It's pretty interesting when you think about it. Now, you might remember last night, we also mentioned how Sandra Day O'Connor presided over one of those landmark affirmative action cases. Of course, she was the first woman to be on the Supreme Court, appointed by Republican President Ronald Reagan, who said this at the time. This is a snippet from his National Library website. "Needless to say, most of the speculation has centered on the question of whether I would consider a woman to fill this first vacancy. As the press has accurately pointed out, during my campaign for the presidency, I made a commitment that one of my first appointments to the Supreme Court vacancy would be the most qualified woman I could possibly find." See, to Ronald Reagan, being a woman was an important factor in the next justice. And don't forget, the president is only nominating a candidate. They still have to be confirmed by the Senate with a majority vote. And they don't just give these jobs to just anyone. I mean, these candidates are some of the most elite and decorated minds among us. Their resumes are insane. They don't just find these people in line at Starbucks. You know what I mean? Thank you so much for the questions, though. Thanks to Donald for taking the time to write it in. If you have more questions, let me know. Oh, and one last thing I do want to mention tonight. I want to say thank you to everyone who has embraced this segment and emailed me and asked me questions and sent in critiques. And while I do get some harsh emails from time to time, I think I might be growing on you. I mean, for instance, last night, nobody made fun of me for doing the last 45 seconds of the story with spit on my chin. I mean, not one person said, wow, this guy wants me to take him seriously. Meanwhile, his chin is glistening like a toddler's. Someone get him a bib. No one said that. So thank you. Please keep telling me your thoughts. This is your local news station. Remember that. You have a voice. and it matters. Reach out, Dan at WRAL.com.